What's up, YouTube? Welcome to Sir Hunt's Reviews. I'm Mark, and that's Kitty. But yeah, you guys probably looked at the title of this live stream and you're like, biggest Game of Thrones theory. What is this? What could this potentially be? Well, I'm gonna let you know. Varys is a fucking mermaid. No, I'm just kidding. This major theory that I'm talking about is really about season 7, but also season 8, mainly like the ultimate end game of season Game of Thrones. All right, so basically, I actually messaged a few people. I was gonna see if they could join me for this live stream. What's up, everybody in the chat? We got 3 people watching right now. Yo, what's going on? Sir Hunt's Reviews back at it again. All right, so yeah, basically, I'm gonna run down like 3 characters, and then I'm gonna pick. Okay, we'll do 4 characters, and I'm going to pick the person who I think is most likely going to be the quintessential player. Well, you know what? All right, so here goes. We got Sansa Stark up first. She's kind of like, she will probably die. Oh man, I'm like, this is why you should write a script. This shit is live. All right, so look, before I start discussing it, what's up, everyone? Shout out to Dan Souza. Shout out to Lou Alcock. Lou Alcock. Moejii, what's up, dude? Hey, Moejii, if you want to, you can join me, bro. I've never added you on Hangouts before, but if you would like, and if you have a couple minutes of free time, come join me, brother. It makes these live streams easier when you have someone else you can kind of talk to. All right, so we have I just gave this Lou Alcock dude a shout out, and he's telling me to fuck off. Are you serious, dude? Sweet. Maybe you took what I was saying as an insult, which I wasn't. Didn't mean that. Well, you typed it. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so Mo, yeah, I'm gonna try to add Mo real quick. All right, let me see. Oh shit, I think you're in my circle. All right, so the invite is on its way, buddy. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I should have worded that better, Lou. But yeah, Mo, that invite is on the way, killer. I also sent one to James Bouchel. Hopefully he has a little bit of free time. Damn, we got almost 20 people watching right now. What's up, everybody in the chat? Don't worry, we'll start talking about Game of Thrones eventually. But usually I take questions. Well, we take questions all day, but I want to ask you guys a question. What have you been doing with all of your free time? Like, Game of Thrones isn't on anymore, so what have you been doing? I'll tell y'all what I've been doing, which is watching a shit ton of other TV shows, working, and for the most part, I've been catching back up on my anime bug. I've been watching a lot of fucking anime, like good ass anime, dark anime, but nonetheless, it's very good. Like I was a huge fan of Naruto Shippuden, and then like you realize with Naruto, you get like 5 or 6 good episodes, and then it's like 13 episodes of fucking filler. So yeah, I don't know. Some of the newer ones I've been watching and I recommend to you guys is Tokyo Ghoul. That is a fucking amazing one. I finished the first 2 seasons. I think there's another season. I watch them dubbed. Like, I can listen to the Japanese stuff, but after a while, it's like I get tired of reading. You know what I mean? So I look for English dubbed anime series, and Tokyo Ghoul, luckily, is one of those. Another really good one from several years ago, and they've recently redone it, which I don't like the way they redone it because it looks fake as shit. But Berserk, that's another really good anime. See what's going on in this chat box over here. All right. Let's see. We got watching a shit ton of theory videos. Just started reading the books. Game of Thrones books, to clarify. Watching reviews on Game of Thrones, and just started The Walking Dead. Yo, I highly recommend that, Angelique Fair, because I will be doing this channel will probably be switching over to, oh shit, Mo, what's up, dude? Yo.
What's going on with you, man?
Shit, chilling, bro. Fucking bored. Decided to do a live stream on Saturday.
Cooling out on the weekend, man. I'm off. I'm just ready to do some theories. I'm ready to chill, man. It's the weekend, you know?
Hell yeah. Um, did you have any like suggestions for what some shows that people could maybe watch in their off time, or not off time, but in the Game of Thrones off season?
I just got introduced to this show. I'm glad you asked this question. A Night Of. This show has really caught my attention. It's got some really interesting backstories for the characters that you see, and it's dope. Check it out. It's called A Night Of.
What have you what is it about? Is it on Netflix or?
I watch it on websites, but it's currently on HBO right now, and it's a crime drama, man. It's about some detectives that are solving murders. It's kind of like True Detective, if you've ever watched shows like that, crime dramas.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I think I know that sounded a little bit familiar. It's on HBO. I've seen that. I think I watched a little trailer for it. It looked pretty good. Have you seen? I know we're getting. I know this says biggest Game of Thrones. We'll start talking about Game of Thrones soon. Don't worry. Have you watched Stranger Things on Netflix? Show called
No,
Stranger
what's
Things.
that about?
Yo, I recommend that, dude. It's like I was born right in 1990, and like it's a whole bunch of 80s style stuff, but I still find it nostalgic. It's basically like you haven't really figured out whether it's aliens or like paranormal type shit, but I kind of think it's aliens. But basically, it's like this sci-fi shit where they just is on episode 5 or 6, and you start figuring out. But basically, it's set in this small town. I don't want to give away too much, you know what I mean? But it's set in this small town, and this kid goes missing, and then his mom basically starts like seeing things, and she can start to communicate with them, and then like I don't know, I can't really go into too much without spoiling, but it's really good. I recommend that.
If she got special powers or something?
Well, it's kind of like you could. It's kind of like up to, because they haven't gone too much into it yet. It's kind of like up for debate, but I believe that her son was like kind of like abducted by aliens, so he's able to communicate with her. Have you ever seen a movie called Silent Hill?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you know when the whole concept of the first one, when the bell rings, they like go. It's basically like an alternate world. It's like the Fallout part of it. Like they're in kind of like a normal world, and then that bell rings, and then that's when you start seeing all the demons and shit like that.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that, and like her son basically gets taken to that dimension, and then she's able to communicate with him somehow, and everybody else is like, nah, he's probably dead, and like they end up finding a body and all types of shit. Like it's crazy, man. It's really crazy. I recommend it.
Yeah, there's a lot of fantasy shows trying to take over for Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones is about to be over in 2 seasons.
Hell yeah.
So there's a lot of shows trying to come out and take the slot over. It's because it's going to be devastating, man. I mean, I'm really hoping Walking Dead steps their game up, because I'm like, Fear the Walking Dead has not caught my attention at all.
Yeah, no. I mean, I know they're coming back for the second half of the season. Like they're taking their little break, and they're going to be starting up the second half soon. But honestly, the first half, there was probably like 1, maybe 2 good episodes, in my opinion, if that.
Did you get a new mic? I'm seeing your mic game is looking boss, dude.
Hell yeah, off of Amazon.
Oh man, I got one ordered this week. It's called the Circle mic. I'm real boosted about it. It like has noise cancellation. I cannot wait. You gotta have a mic. If you're gonna be in the game, you gotta have a mic.
Hell yeah, I'm waiting on. I got this. I haven't ordered it yet, but I've been looking at this little like it's like a clip basically for the mic where you can clip it onto something and it hangs over so that it's like right in front of you, so you don't have to like lean in a little bit. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. It's like retractable.
Hell yeah, and it holds it in like perfect position. I was fucking around with one the other day in the Sam Ash, like this music store. It makes you feel like a rapper and shit, because the mic's like suspended and you're just like like rapping into it and shit.
Yeah, that shit like gets your confidence up right before you get on air. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, doing mic checks, fucking rapping. All right, but yeah, so I've never done a live stream with you. I know we were on Tony's channel together. Do you want to tell everybody real quick where they can find you, like a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name's Moejii Osman, King of the North. I do theory videos. I do art. I do a little bit of Photoshop. I do graphic design, but mainly on YouTube. I'm doing theories right now. Me and Tony Teflon have another channel that we're doing pop culture, entertainment, sports news with, fantasy football. But on my page, you can catch it at Moejii Osman. I've done a couple of good theories this week. You can catch me at that channel. I'll post it in the chat, and hopefully you can put me down in the description.
Hell yeah. I'll definitely do that. All right, so yeah. I had this theory that like it was originally saw it on a magazine, and then I've seen it on Reddit, and then I've kind of added my own spin to it. But it's basically that Samwell Tarly is going to be the most important player like in a Game of Thrones. Reason being is because I believe he's going to record everything that happened, and like we all know that pretty much each of whether it's the Game of Thrones series or whether it's a Tale of or the Night of the Seven Kingdoms or the Princess and the Prince, like if it's any of those, it's from a period throughout like Westeros, you know what I mean, Westeros history. So this period, the Game of Thrones history, if you want to call it, is in my opinion recorded by Sam, and they kind of confirmed it when we saw the astrolabe like hanging in the Citadel. So what if Sam basically pulls a brand from the books, never leaves the Citadel? I don't think this will happen, but it could. And I'm just saying, like, Sam is pretty much where he's at, and he starts communicating with everybody. Maybe he eventually does go back to the wall, but for the most part, he's alive at the end, and he records all that. What do you think about that?
So for the people that don't know about this theory that Mark's talking about, let me spell it out. Basically, the theory is that this world is already finished. It's like complete. It's either like everybody's dead, or the war against the great others and the Night's King is already finished. And basically, since season 1, Sam has been telling Game of Thrones from his perspective, basically. And the reason why Jon is the superhero, by basically he's the hero, is because that's Sam's best friend. They grew up with each other at the wall. So obviously Jon is going to be portrayed in a good light. And this whole story is Sam explaining it after he's already become a maester at the Citadel. This is like 10 years after the show's finished, is what this theory is. And I really like it. I really like Sam. And basically George R. R. Martin has said that he is Sam. Basically, it's him in this world. He identifies the most with Sam as a character. And I love it. I want to see Sam become a maester. I believe he's going to find a book. I know you subscribe to this too. I know you've talked about this in your videos, that Sam's going to find a book in the Citadel that describes how to defeat the great others, whether that's Valyrian steel weaponry or wildfire.
Hell yeah. I think he's going to also find something, whether it's like a Targaryen wedding history, just some sort of piece of paper that will help, like, not that the Iron Throne will even be important after halfway through season 7, but he's going to find some sort of like confirmation that, oh yeah, Jon, your parents are such and such, because nobody's going to believe Bran. You know what I mean? Like, other than Jon himself and maybe Bran's family and closest allies, but I don't really think you're going to need some concrete evidence from the Citadel, and hopefully Sam will come across that in his research.
Yeah, people are hoping that Rhaegar, before he died on the Trident, sent a birth certificate to the Citadel claiming that he married Lyanna Stark in front of a weirwood tree and they conceived Jon Snow.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Also, I think another parallel, which someone just reminded me in the chat, because they were saying Lord of the Rings, basically is copying off of Lord of the Rings, is that Samwell Tarly is Samwise Gamgee, and Samwise is the one who finishes Frodo's book in Lord of the Rings. I know we're getting kind of like, you know what I mean, but like when Gandalf and the elves come and get Frodo and they take him to like basically to go live in eternity, Sam ends up finishing the book, and like that kind of like Sam basically, like Martin has said that, yeah, his biggest inspiration for Samwell Tarly is Samwise Gamgee. It also can relate in the aspect that both Sams are the ones who Sam will be recording the entire history, but he's similar to the Sam in from Lord of the Rings in the sense that he finishes out the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly how the theory is explained, and it makes a lot of sense. Every history that's been written in this story has been done by a maester, so it makes sense for Sam to become a maester and also explain the story from his perspective.
Hell yeah. And like what you were saying earlier too is like that's Sam's, like, he's gonna make Jon look good because Jon's one of his best friends, and it's the same sense that like Sam is the best friend of Frodo, who was the key to Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? So we believe that Jon's, I kind of think Danny has a big part to play in it, but we could talk about that a little bit later. But Jon is definitely one of the most important people in the series, and it would make sense that person telling the series is gonna give him the best light. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like if you're gonna write a book and you've been tasked by the Citadel as a chained maester to write the epic history of A Song in Ice and Fire, you're gonna make your best friend be the freaking hero. You know what I mean? You saw your best friend get a Valyrian steel sword from Lord Commando Mormont. He has a freaking dire wolf. He's the superhero all over the story.
Hell yeah, he's gonna eventually find out he died and came back to life, like all types of shit. Another damn, that shit just dropped from my head real. That's why fucking it's hard to do these sometimes. What the fuck was about to another similar thing? Damn, I forgot about it real quick. Maybe it was something in the chat that sparked me to want to say that.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions you want me and Mark to go over with theories for predictions for season 7, definitely drop them in the chat. We're just shooting the breeze right now.
Hell yeah. All right, so I remembered it. It's like the reason why, another thing that adds to this whole Sam being a key player thing is like when you first see the astrolabe, when Game of Thrones starts, when the opening shit starts, it kind of looks skewed and almost fish-eyed. And when Sam first walked into the Citadel, the Maester, it could be Marwyn, but it's probably not. It's just some random dude who does intake. But before he looks up, he's got on these spectacles that are like 3 levels or whatever, and he clicks one. You know what I mean? It kind of lifts it up above his head. People are saying that was another hint that like Sam will not necessarily Sam will have to wear those while he's writing the book, but they're just further hinting at it. It's like you're looking at it through the perspective of a maester who's, you know what I mean, wearing those glasses. So when they enter the realm of Westeros, the astrolabe spinning is like the same one that's in the Citadel and shit like that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's real smart, like looking at detail, because like in the book, this is where Sam is introduced to Marwyn the Mage, who's a really important character in the books. He's got a glass candle, that just like Quaithe, and they're basically able to talk to people from long distances with this glass candle. I don't know if you remember in Lord of the Rings, it's like that thing that the White Wizard had that him and Gandalf were fighting over. It's like a candle. It's like
this weird. Yeah.
Yeah, and they use that to talk to people long distances. And Marwyn the Mage literally leaves the Citadel to go find Daenerys Targaryen because he finally realizes that her dragons have hatched. And Marwyn the Mage has been studying ancient books in the Citadel, just like Sam is going to be, in our opinion, and wants to find the dragon. So I hope they show Marwyn the Mage next season.
Hell yeah, that would be dope. It would make a lot more people happy. What the fuck?
Yep.
But yeah, all right. So I had a couple questions from some videos that just easier to make the time go by. But real quick from the chat, someone saying, what do we see a prequel series being for Game of Thrones? Like if they do a spin-off TV show, what would we see a prequel series be?
If they do a prequel for Song of Ice and Fire?
Mm-hmm. Like a prequel to Game of Thrones, basically like a spin-off of Game of Thrones or whatever. What would be a good prequel series?
Well, people in the fandom want Duncan Egg.
Hell yeah.
But if you're strictly a show watcher, you're not going to know what the hell Duncan Egg is. So the best thing is for HBO to do Robert's Rebellion, because show watchers will know exactly what the hell Robert's Rebellion's about. It's about Rhaegar Targaryen and Robert fighting at the Trident, and one killing the other, and him taking the throne and destroying the Targaryen dynasty with that battle at the Trident. Everything, basically, it's the perfect prequel is if they do Robert's Rebellion. I don't like Duncan Egg. I think Duncan Egg is better made for a movie and not for a TV show.
Mm-hmm. I think my only problem with the whole battle Robert's Rebellion is that it comes with this stigma where we expect to see a young Robert Baratheon, we expect to see a young Ned Stark, and then eventually, like, they want it. We're obviously going to want it to go as long, or at least half of as long as Game of Thrones, and I don't think there's enough material there. Like, I know there is. If you go by World of Ice and Fire, there's a lot of back shit that they could put in there. But I feel like because people kind of know what to expect, just like you said, that'll be too much of fucking, like, hate and like all types of shit that the producers will get. It's too hard to live up to that. People expect it to be similar to Game of Thrones because a lot of the people that were alive then are still alive now, or at least before the events start. So you expect to see and if they don't cast the right actors, we're gonna be like, well, that doesn't look like Mark Addy or that doesn't look like Sean Bean. I think their best bet, even though people won't know what so much the average person wouldn't know like the back history of it. I think that's the beauty in it. You don't know what to expect. The average person doesn't know. Okay, well, I remember this happening because we heard about this in the Game of Thrones. The events of a Duncan Egg or a tale of Duncan Egg really hasn't been mentioned too much, but they could definitely link it since we know Brienne is like somehow related to Sir Duncan Tall. But it would just be like a new world, a total new world. And this, honestly, during this time period, there's no dragons. You know what I mean? So that's a whole less of like a CGI budget they have to worry about. You know what I mean? Because even when they're doing spinoffs, they don't really go into a full force. Like we might not get a full 10 episode first series. You know what I mean? Or first season. I don't know.
Most definitely. The mystery factor is exactly right. Nobody will know who a lot of these characters. The only character that people will recognize is Brendan Rivers, Bloodraven, the three-eyed crow. He's in a Duncan Egg. But
well, Walder Frey.
Oh, Walder Frey's in it too. He's like, he's not as old as he is in Game of Thrones, but he's definitely old. He's still like 50, 60 years old. And Sir Barristan Selmy, he's in it, a younger version of Selmy. So yeah, the mystery factor of not knowing these characters will probably do it. Robert's Rebellion is maximum 4 seasons. They're not going to be able to do more than 4 seasons if they do Robert's Rebellion with the whole war and everything that happened after the war. Duncan Egg, they could probably get 5 or 6 out of it.
Yeah, and honestly, like another thing too, you got to think of is like, you know how mad people are getting that they're having to add in all this backstory on characters taken out from other people. Like they have to still worry about that too, because honestly, with just the source material, you can get a full like if you take out all the filler, you could probably get like, I don't know, maybe 2 seasons tops. So they'd have to be adding in a whole bunch of these. I know what you're saying, like they could stretch it out, of course, but you know, people are complaining about that. So they're going to try not to put as much filler in it. And with doing that, they're going to have to make up a lot of subplots and a lot of like, they will probably add at least 3 to 4 new characters, you know what I mean? And then add in backstory and make characters look a certain way. Like they'll portray a young Ned Stark differently, or they'll portray a young Brandon differently, or they'll leave out a Shard to make it simple. Like all types of shit like that. I feel like because people know so much about that, they're going to be like, I don't know. It's whatever, though. Honestly, I would be happy with whatever they would give us as any sort of like prequel series, because we know we have like
Yeah. I definitely see the fandom being really picky and wanting to be everything to be perfect, but it's impossible to do perfect. I mean, look at Game of Thrones right now. How many episodes did we get out of 10 that were literally perfect? Maybe 2 episodes. I consider the Hodor episode and Battle of the Bastards to be perfect episodes. But look at the rest. That's 8 out of 10 episodes that weren't up to par. If they're going to do Duncan Egg, can they live up to these expectations? They're probably going to get hate after every episode. It's really hard to do perfection on Game of Thrones.
Hell yeah, and they're tired. So if anything, like Dan and Dave aren't probably going to sign on 100% for the follow-up series. They'll probably get a producer credit, and it'll probably be a whole new like showrunner. You know what I mean? Because they're tired, dude. They've been doing this shit for a long time. Once it's over, it'll be almost 10 years. You know what I mean? Once like the last 2 seasons come out, so they're tired. So that's another thing too. Is you gotta have somebody who's willing to, someone like me or you or anybody on the YouTube community that's gonna be up there like, nah, fuck that. We're gonna do this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and HBO's not going to be tired. The D&D are going to be tired, but HBO is going to be ready to make Duncan Egg or Robert's Rebellion as soon as it's over for that money. They don't want people to forget about these characters. They got 25 million people watching every Sunday, dude. It's a global phenomenon. It's a cultural phenomenon.
Hell yeah.
People in Turkey can talk to you about the show, like, and you don't even speak the same language.
Yeah. That just reminded me real quick. I was actually doing a little bit of research because, you know, Walking Dead has 16 episodes. Game of Thrones has 10. Technically, The Walking Dead does get a higher viewership because they're on AMC. It's easier to access. It's like basic cable or whatever. But the Game of Thrones actors get paid so much more. Okay, so fucking the lead cast member for Walking Dead is what the fuck is his name? I know Rick Grimes, but I'm trying to think of his Andrew Lincoln. He makes $90,000 per episode. The full, like the 6 leads that we know they make $500,000 per episode, like the new one. So they make roughly like 5 or 6 million, anywhere from 5 to 10 million per season, and then The Walking Dead makes 1 million. So it just goes to show you right there that like what you were saying about the money. I don't know. It's just interesting to see that like The Walking Dead has a longer season and they film, I think, longer, but it takes Game of Thrones longer to film an episode. I don't know. It's just funny. You can see the difference in the two. It's like I don't know.
The thing about Walking Dead is they don't have a big budget for scenery, for animals, for horses, you know, the battle scenes. Basically, Walking Dead, all they need is a couple houses in a neighborhood, and then they just have extras looking like zombies, and then the cast killing them. Game of Thrones is an epic fantasy world that there's so much money being spent just on animals alone and the horses and shit. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. I had a couple of really good questions that I had highlighted that from one of my videos real quick. I know anybody in the chat right now, go ahead and Moejii's a moderator, so if anybody's fucking up me and him, anybody starts trolling or some shit, we're gonna kick you the fuck out. We don't play that shit over here. But yeah, I just had a couple questions that I was gonna put in a Q&A, but I figured we could do it live. All right. Damn, I just lost that motherfucker. All right, so this one's from a user named Craig Hathcock, and he says, if all the Starks meet back up with Bran, will he be able to teach them to open their third eye? If so, can they use their Weirwood network to communicate across great distance? Can they use secret passages like linked to the old gods like Bran used to bypass the wall? So many possibilities. I love this question. Just to clarify, but basically the first one is, if all the Starks meet back up with Bran, will he be able to teach them how to warg, how to use their third eye? What do you think about that?
Well, in the books, Arya is a warg, and
yeah, John is too. So this is more of like a show question, more like a show.
Yeah, so I believe the showrunners will bring in the book information and make them wargs on the show too. That'll be smart in my opinion. They didn't show John his soul going into Ghost.
Yeah, by the way, real quick, I just want to laugh because there was a lot of, in particular, LaDonna. She was stuck by that fucking theory, like hardcore. I was like, nah, I just don't think they're gonna do it because in the books they give foreshadowing of him like up to the point of dying. He has those wolf dreams and he denies them at first, and they're like, yeah, well, no, just give into it. And then he eventually realized, okay, well, yeah, I'm a warg. They never even hinted at that on the show. Like, they haven't really honestly hinted at anybody other than Bran being a warg. So I don't know.
Yeah, because they want to keep Bran as the special one. They want to keep him as the mythical, magical character, and Jon be the hero without those type of powers and more of a physical fighter with his sword, just like Jorah Mormont. They want to keep everybody's skills different. They don't want the audience to be confused, like, oh, Bran can warg? Oh, Jon can warg too? Oh, wow. You know what I mean? It could get a little bit confusing, but I do think that Arya will be given that strength in the show, especially if she meets up with Melisandre, because they already talked about it. If you remember when she was with the Brotherhood Without Banners, she told Arya, I see blue eyes, green eyes, black eyes, which could have meant
posing forever, yeah.
But it also could have meant warging.
Yeah, I think Melisandre and Arya will definitely be running back into each other. I just don't know if it's like, because I was like, yeah, she's obviously gonna run into Thorsmere, and the Hound being with them is gonna make it most likely that Arya will run into them too, because they're honestly not that far off from where they left each other, and it would be a big circle and shit. But I something caught my eye. I was like, wait a second, because I kept watching, you know what I mean, rewatching the season. I'm like, they showed Melisandre pulling off, showing that she has the ability to change her appearance like drastically. Of course, we know. So in the books, she like changes another person too. She doesn't change herself. But I mean, it's been hinted at the fact that she's older than she seems, and she changes someone's appearance to make them look like Mance Rayder and shit like that. But like, it just made me think they showed that in the show to obviously show that she was at the lowest point she could ever be, and she's like defenseless, and they showed her in the fetal position. But I think they also showed that what if she just leaves, goes away for a couple weeks, turns into her true self, and then goes back to the wall? Or maybe she changes herself to look like somebody different, but just eventually goes back to the wall. I think that's what's going to happen. I think she will likely get somewhere and be like, nah, I need to fight the War for the Dawn. I fucked up, so now I kind of have to do something drastic. She knows Jon needs her, so she knows that she's basically going to I don't know. She's gonna be heading back to the wall, and I hope that she does it before Arya sees it, because Arya's not playing no types of fucking games, bro. She will kill that bitch like immediately. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people have been fighting me on this for a couple of weeks now, but I am firmly under the impression, just like you just mentioned, that Melisandre is hiding in the north under her true self. She's going to remove the necklace. She's going to become an old woman, and she's going to hide in the north because nobody knows what she looks like, because she cannot leave Jon Snow. She thinks that Jon Snow is the prince that is promised. She thinks he's Azor Ahai. She's not going to leave him. She already left Stannis when she realized Stannis wasn't Azor Ahai. But now she knows Jon is, because he came back to life. She's going to hide in the north, and Arya is not going to recognize her as an old woman either. So that's how I think they could possibly meet up as well.
Yeah, I think what the show might do, and this literally just came to me from listening to you speak, is like what they might do is replace Jon's Red Priest with Thoros of Myr, because we know they're headed north of the wall. What if Melisandre does her like history repeats itself type shit and then goes with Dany? Because Dany would accept her. Dany has a team of Red Priestesses already. You know what I mean? What if Melisandre just heads south, and it just so happens that she hears word that there's this dragon queen coming over here with 3 dragons. She knows dragons are fire made flesh. She worships Valor. It would be real easy for her, seeing as how quickly she dropped Stannis with Jon turned her down, and if she's smart about it, she would hang out up there like we were saying. But if she hears about Dany coming, and maybe she's given an order by the High Priestess, and she's like, look, nah, fuck that. Jon Snow's not Azor Ahai. Dany is. She's got fire made flesh. You know what I mean? What do you think about that? You think Melisandre could join up with Daenerys?
Yeah, I think there's a conspiracy by the Lord of Light priests, by the Valor priests. I believe they send out their priests and priestesses to be spies in camps with strong people that have armies, people that have magic. As soon as they found out Dany has magic, Kinvara took her time to get the Marine, but she finally got there, and now she got in Dany's camp. Dany is using Kinvara. I don't know if she got on the boat with them and left Marine with her, but she's definitely in the city because Tyrion brought all the red priests and priestesses in the city. And if you remember, Thoros of Myr was sent by the Lord of Light priest to go and fuck with Robert.
Try to convert him. Yeah.
So this is what they do. So now they got Melisandre that went after Stannis, but she didn't realize he's not Azor Ahai, so she's now after Jon. This is their plan. It's a conspiracy by the Lord of Light. These people are the only people we've seen that have magic, other than the Northmen, other than Bran.
Technically, the Maesters kind of do have a little bit of magic. They have science, you know what I mean? But yeah, I could totally see that, because there's the Grand Maester conspiracy. There could be a priest of Valor, or priestess and priestess of Valor conspiracy. I dig that, dude. I like that.
Absolutely.
All right, so we have.
There was a guy in the chat that asked us, what do we think is under the Winterfell? Basically, what's in the crypts of Winterfell?
Rhaegar's harp. I'll say that.
Yeah, this theory's been going around for a while. Shout out to Tony Teflon. He said that Rhaegar's harp is down there, and Rhaegar's armor. That was something that I've like jumped on that theory recently, because I think it's awesome. If his armor is down there, from the trident that's missing the 7 rubies, and Jon gets it, that could be Valyrian steel armor. That shit is serious.
Yo, that would be insane. If that does happen, I could totally see Jon. Like there's this picture that I used for my little fucking lower third shit right here. This, damn, where the fuck is it? Hang on a second. This right here, you can see that right there. That's from this movie called Dracula Untold. Not my face, but the armor. So what I did was took my face and then photoshopped it to that, and then animated it to make it look like that. Like literally after the season ended, there started to be all these pictures floating with Jon in that armor. I'm like, nigga, I made that shit. But anyway, I could totally see Jon looking fucking badass in that, and then them using that like, oh yeah, well, you're gonna be fighting all these White Walkers. Maybe we could modify it if he if they, I don't know, that would be dope if they made it into like brass knuckles or something. I don't know how that works, but Valyrian Steel, where he's like, let's say his sword is not in reach and he's just able to punch through some White Walkers and it kills him that way. That would be awesome. I just like went off on a little bit of a tangent there, my bad.
Yeah, we haven't been introduced to Valyrian steel armor, but Victorian has it in the books, and it'll be dope if the show does it. Especially
You really think he does have it though?
Yeah, he has it.
I think I don't know.
It might be regular plate mail armor, but I'm pretty sure somebody found Valyrian steel armor. I don't know if it was Euron. It might have been Victorian, but I think one of them has it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's the newer sample chapter that was released where they were talking about how he has the Valyrian steel armor on and he's standing next to Dany and they're on the Iron Throne or whatever. Oh man, I don't know. I wish we could have Tony on right now because I'm sure he's got some good, you know what I mean? We haven't seen him in a while. I'm sure he's what's it called? Actually, no, I caught him on your channel the other day. Didn't you guys do something?
Yeah, every Thursday we do a season 7 prediction show on my channel. He's taking a vacation from his channel for the summer, but he comes on and hangs out with me. We shoot the breeze on every Thursday.
That's awesome. So make sure you guys go check that out. You said every Thursday. Is there a particular time or just?
Yeah, you need to come through and be a special guest. It's every Thursday at 6 p.m., dude. Whenever you're down, just let me know.
Hell yeah. That sounds good. I think this coming Thursday, I think I'm off, but I don't get off till like 6 or 7. We can figure that out. Shit, what was I about to say? I'm scanning through, trying to find some more questions. Let's see. All right, these are some pretty funny ones. I'll just read. They're a little bit of a hate comment. One person says, "You are ridiculous. Please get a life." And that one keeps popping up. And then another one, people think I sound like Ramsey Bolton. What the fuck, dude? I've never heard that in my life. That's like a new comment that people keep commenting on the videos. But they said I sound like Ramsey Bolton or some shit. Cause like I intentionally try to talk calmer in that particular video they're talking about. So I guess that's how they took it off with Ramsey being like mad, calm and collected. But what do you think? Do you think well, I know this is kind of a silly question, but do you think we'll get Winds of Winter before season 7?
Absolutely. I think it's dropping Christmas 2016, 2017. It's dropping this New Year's and Christmas.
I hope so. I think my personal prediction though, Winds of Winter will be out Christmas of 2136. Like I don't fucking like yo. I saw this person was commenting on Reddit and was saying like I don't think we're gonna get the 6th book until after the last season already comes on. Like it won't be until after that. And I was like, man, I fucking hope not, but I could totally see that. And then they went on to describe why they had like this 2-page reasoning of why they think it will be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is he drops his books every 5 years. And this is the first time that he's been extra late on his 5-year limit. The last one was 2011, A Dance with Dragons. Before that, 2005, Feast for Crows. So he was supposed to drop it last year before the season started. So getting one more year, you know, tardiness, you gotta finish it.
I think it's like this. I think he's already finished it, man. I think he's going back, and of course he's doing his thing where he has to do edits and type of shit like that. But I honestly think the reason why is because he's an author. He does get paid royalties from the TV show, but he knows he can make the most money if there's nothing else Game of Thrones or A Song of Ice and Fire coming out but his shit. Like, of course, it makes more sense to help the show end positively, but they already know how the books are ending. Like, they've known for a long time. So it gives George the opportunity to change the shit that pisses people off the most. And I know he claims that he doesn't go on the internet and read theories about his books and all this other shit, but he said he did one time, and one out of 100 people randomly guessed something right. And he said ever since then he decided not to go on those. But I think what he can do with the show is use it to his advantage. Is the thing that people hate the most on the show or love the most on the show, he can perfect it for the books. And I think that the whole book, the whole Winds of Winter is finished, but little events that he will go back to, maybe even certain POV chapters and shit, are going to be tweaked so that he can get the most. Like, I know he's not someone who obviously gives a shit about what his fans think. Obviously, he kills off like every single beloved character. You know what I mean? I just feel like he's gonna use the show as a learning learning advantage. This is fucking nasty ass like fucking kale juice, by the way. It looks like shit, but I gotta drink it. Sorry, go ahead.
That's that vegan juice. I've seen that before.
Yo, it's fucking horrible, dude. I watch Casey Neistat on YouTube. He does a lot of like vlogging shit, and he's always like, yeah, got it. He's like, yeah, I just ran 36 miles, and I'm about to drink this. So trying to be a little bit healthy.
Yeah, I watch Casey too. It's like the best vlogger on YouTube. That's like that shit gives me inspiration. It's an amazing.
Yeah. Yo, hell yeah, dude. Like, that's the kind of content that I want to fucking make on YouTube. Because it's like, we're in the off season of Game of Thrones. But it's like, oh, you got to make a new channel. And you got to get this and you got to get that. I got a new phone that records at 1080p. So I'm working on it. I'm doing like, literally, like, whenever I have free time, I'm going out, going skateboarding. Yo, do you play Pokemon Go, by the way? I know this is random as shit.
Yeah. Not as much as the first, like, couple of days. But, yeah, I occasionally turn it on and I play when I'm outside.
Hell yeah, dude. Like, yo, that will get you out and moving around. I've been to parts of my city that I've never been to because of that fucking game. I'm like, I gotta go find this fucking Dragonair. Like, yo, that shit is dope, dude.
Yeah, there was a gym, right? There was a Pokemon gym right in front of the mall in my crib, and freaking there was like 20 people standing in front of that shit. It was crazy. You meet the craziest people, yo.
Hell yeah. Yo, there's something going on in downtown or where I'm at. That's called a Pokemon Walk. It's going on today, but I didn't go to that shit. I wanted to. It was supposed to be like literally several hundred people walking around and shit like that. It's like, I haven't seen it happen yet, and I don't know if it will, but I know the shit pisses me off. It's like, you can pick a color for your team in the game, and what'll happen is you go to the gym, you get other people that are on the same color as you, and you level the gym up to, I don't know, I think the highest it can go is like level 10. Now, you have to leave. If you leave that area, you leave a Pokemon up there, and the Pokemon stays and regenerates health until it gets defeated. And then once it gets defeated, it gets returned. I didn't realize it gets returned. I thought you had to go back to the gym to do that. So I'm sitting there with this other random person that I met. We conquer the fucking gym, and I said mate. There's other random person that I met. We conquered the gym, and then afterwards, like, it's like, oh yeah, so what Pokemon do you want to leave up here? I'm like, all right, let me leave something that I know, like, if I don't ever come back and get it, I won't be mad about it. So I left a fucking, like, level, or a CP 107 Pidgey. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of the most basic Pokemon up there. And then as soon as I walk away, someone is literally in the area already taking over the gym. And then that's when I found out that you get the Pokemon back. I don't know, but that shit is amazing. Let's get back on the Game of Thrones. We're starting to lose viewers here. My bad.
Yeah, what was the question? What was the question we were just talking about?
When's winter come out? When's the winter?
Yeah, but there was something else we were talking about. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, the reason I think that he's taking so long to write the book is because George R. R. Martin is reading the internet and seeing people destroy his theories, and he's basically recrafting his theories because people have solved it. And,
yeah.
And I think he wants to make every theory a surprise, but it's kind of hard to make R plus L equals J a surprise when the book came out 20 years ago. It's over, dude. People have figured out your theories. Just put the book out.
Hell yeah. All right, so here's a question. When Bran shows up, shouldn't the Bannermen of the North pledge their banners to Bran Stark and not Jon?
No, because Sansa's older than him.
Yeah. And not to mention, I mean, let's face it, Jon's not like Jon can produce an heir. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not a naturalized naturalized bastard. He has to get a decree just like Ramsay Bolton did from Tommen or whoever the king at the Iron Throne is. But if the Northern Lords crown you the King of the North, like they crowned Robb Stark in the Riverlands, then they don't give a shit about the Iron Throne anymore. They basically become their own country. The North becomes their own entity, and they like crown their king.
Yeah, their own sovereignty or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah. What do you think about the theory that damn, I just thought about it real quick. Then I lost it. It was something
to do with Jon Snow?
Yeah, kind of. All right, so it was okay. No, it was about Arya. When Arya comes back, did I already ask this question? I can't even. Oh no, it was a brand one. All right, so when Arya comes back, this was a question that I actually asked my subscribers, and there was a lot of really good answers. But I'm gonna ask you real quick. What when Arya comes back to Winterfell, and if she does go back, and when she meets up with them, she's obviously going to tell them. She might not tell them everything, but she's going to tell them certain things, and maybe they'll find out some of what she's done just from like Bran. Maybe Bran's been like looking to see some shit, and maybe he'll be in the middle of a flashback of like what happened to Walder Frey or something, and then see what Arya did, or see what Arya did in Bravos, or see what Arya did all throughout Westeros. When they find out about what Arya's done, and obviously she'll be different, do you think they're going to be willing to accept her back in with open arms? Or do you, I mean, obviously they will, but do you think they're going to look at her the same? Do you think Sansa will not trust her as quickly, or like similar to the fact of how she didn't really trust Jon at first? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it'll be exactly the way that Jon and Sansa were weary of each other when they both hooked up in the north. The way Sansa was holding secrets from Jon at Castle Black, I think it'll be like that. Jon and Arya will be really close, though, because George R. R. Martin wanted them to marry. In his first copy of Game of Thrones, he was going to make them marry, like sister-wife Targaryen type of deal. So I think Jon and Arya will be close, but Sansa and Arya will have clashing, in my opinion.
And another thing I just thought about too is like I think Arya will like this. I actually said this in my predictions video, but I think Arya will basically show up, meet up with them, and then like she'll obviously want to be back home, and then her being back home, and obviously they're preparing for a war, and the war for Dawn, and the war of whatever Cersei decides to do, since the Starks are apparently sending out letters saying that, yeah, we're back in Winterfell, fuck off. She will definitely find out. You know what I mean? I'm sure one of the first episodes will be of fucking A. What the fuck was I about to say? No, I'm just saying, first episode, she'll be getting word that from Qyburn, most likely, that Winterfell is back in the Starks, so she'll likely do something about that. But I think when Arya gets back home, she's just not going to be normal. She's not going to feel normal. So she's going to leave them right away and go finish off the people on her list. I think she'll stop by, kind of say what's up. She'll want to stay home, but she just won't. She won't be normal. It's almost like PTSD, like soldiers when they come back from Iraq, they want to go back sometimes because they don't feel normal just being at home. Like, you know what I mean? Like they can control their own destiny, and Arya can. I don't even know even if she took everybody off her list, she just feels like she'll never be the same. Like she'll have to be out there. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think she's going to be a traveling assassin. She's going to kind of be like the Ghost of High Heart. She's going to be like a woods witch like Maggie the Frog. She's going to have a hut in the middle of the forest, in like a haunted forest, where people come and pay her to do assassinations. Like, oh, I want you to kill Lord Tully in Riverrun. I'll pay you 20,000 dragons. And she'll just live in the woods and go and kill important people. She won't be a Stark anymore. She's not going to go back to the north. She's going to literally be like Nymeria. She's going to hook up with Nymeria, and they're going to chill in the Riverlands doing some assassination. She's got to use her Faceless Man skills somehow.
Do you think you don't think she's going to go home then?
I don't think she's going back home unless it's the beginning of next season, and she stops by, says hi to Jon, because she doesn't even know if Jon and Sansa are alive. She knows her father's dead. She knows her mother's dead. But she doesn't know what happened to her brothers and sisters. If you remember, when she left King's Landing with Yoren, she was told that everybody got killed, and then she found out that Robb died when she was with Tywin at Harrenhal. So she doesn't know who the hell is alive in her family. Is she going to risk going all the way to Winterfell, traveling all that long distance?
I think I think the next person we see her running into will legit be the Hound and the Brother Without Banners. And they're headed north. So they're all I think she's going to travel with them to Winterfell. I think that will be her first thing. And I think once she gets there, she's going to meet up with Sansa and Jon. Obviously, she might even be, because, we saw her, she didn't like fucking art. She didn't like Sansa at all. That will obviously be gone, just like Jon and Sansa. I think that won't matter no more. But I think once she gets home, she gets into her old room, she fucking realizes that she doesn't have to be on guard all the time. She's not going to feel normal, and that's what's going to cause her to leave. And then she'll do something like what you were saying, where she's either assassin for hire, or she just has to live alone. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and I like what you're saying about her meeting up with the Hound. That's logical. That would be the logical progression. The Brotherhood Without Banners are going north. Maybe she runs into Melisandre and she freaking tags up with Melisandre. Who the hell knows? But I don't
Yeah,
think
Mel.
she's fighting the Night's King.
If
Arya's
she,
not fighting the Night's King. That's not her battle.
yeah, no, I think she'll likely get to at least take out Cersei as one of the last people she kills. But I think going on to what you were saying about fucking hey, what the fuck is going on, dude? Like my short-term memory is completely gone. You were just talking about Arya and meeting up with the Hound. Oh yeah. See, that reminds me. Like a lot of people are saying when I was talking about Arya's death list, a lot of people say that the Hound is not on her death list. She says so. And she never fucking says that. What she says is that she loved the Hound. She didn't say that she didn't want to kill him anymore. We assume that because she loved him and she realized that. But that doesn't mean that she doesn't want to kill him. You know what I mean? She's fucking ruthless. She could still want to kill him. You know what I'm saying? I think Tyrion is definitely on her list now after she saw how that play portrayed Tyrion. She definitely will probably, like, if she runs into him without talking to Sansa first, she would definitely likely try to kill his ass.
Yeah.
Which is another thing, too. Do you think that instead of heading to Winterfell, because maybe she thinks that Jon is still north of the wall and all that shit, and maybe she hears that Jon is dead, and the person who tells her doesn't realize that Jon came back. So what if Arya hears that, makes her want to turn around, and then she goes to King's Landing instead, and she's like, let me infiltrate my way in there and try to take out Cersei, and then right as she's in the city, fucking Daenerys shows up. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Everybody's going to know that Daenerys is coming to King's Landing. That's going to be like the news that's going to travel up and down Westeros. The Dragon Lady's here, and she's going to King's Landing. If Arya hears that, she could think that King's Landing is a waste of time, that Cersei's going to get killed by Dany anyway, and head north because of that. But you got to realize there's only 2 seasons left. And the next 2 seasons, this is something that Tony Teflon has been harking for a while now. They got to get to the Night's King. They got to get to the White Walkers. The battle for the North and the battle of the Great Others is going to be what D&D work on for the next 2 years, for the next year and a half or whatever. They're not going to be worried about little side stories like Arya or whatever, because they just used her up in Bravos for a whole season, and it was really a disappointment. They're going to get to the fighting now. They're going to get to the Night's King. That's going to be the important thing.
Mm-hmm. I think I don't know, man. I think it's hard to, because there's literally, like, at least for season 6, for the most part, we could be like, okay, well, this happened in the books. This happened in the books. Like season 7 is completely they're like at the end of season 5, there was a little bit of doubt about whether they caught up with the books. You know, there was all these plot lines they need to go back and touch on. But I think after season 6, we can safely say that there is, unless they go back and do a few Feast for Crows storylines, there is nothing left for them to base the season off of. So it comes, people like me and you, it's harder, and Tony, it's harder to predict where the shit's going. You know what I mean? And I think we're all going to be thoroughly blown away. They've given themselves more time to film. They've given themselves more vacation time. And I know they're like, oh yeah, because we want snow to be on the ground. We want winter to actually be here and all that shit. But like, I honestly think that because they've given themselves more time, there won't be no fillers. There's only 7 episodes, so there can't be any filler. I think it will be like hardcore. If you take out the 2 episodes of filler from last season, it would be like that, but just over and over. You know what I mean? Which brings me to this question: do you think that we're gonna get longer episodes? Do you think we'll get like maybe 60-minute episodes each episode?
You would think that if it's only going to be 7 episodes for the season, you can't have like 55-minute episodes, 50-minute episodes, because that's what they did this season. There was at least 2 episodes that were 50 minutes. They weren't even an hour. So
Yeah.
If you're going to do 7 total episodes, you better give us an hour straight. No cutting scenes. You know what I mean? Because there's only 2 seasons left. I got to keep saying this. There's only 2 seasons left. And you just said they need winter. It's called Winds of Winter. They need winter. They need the snow because the Night's King is here. He's going to cross the wall. He's going to destroy the wall, bring all the whites with him, and that's all they're going to focus on the show. It's going to be literally what the Night's King does.
Yeah. I think another thing too is like once it actually starts, like who's most important to the story at this point will be very clear. Like the first episode, I'm sure, is going to be picking up right where it left off. And I wouldn't be surprised, since we know Dany's headed across everybody thinks that she's not going straight to King's Landing, that she's going to Dorne first. I don't want to say everybody, but I've seen this theory where people think that she's going to go to Dorne first and attack from there. Fuck that. There's no point. Otherwise, Dorne wouldn't have sailed all the way over there and then just to sail with her back. No, I think that she's going straight to King's Landing. I think whether it's the first episode or the second episode, but there will be the Battle of King's Landing, like the very beginning of the season. Then once that's over, then it will be determined that, hey, you know what, this Iron, like literally as soon as Dany starts settling in or whatever happens, the ending of that, the main point will be get your ass the fuck up north with those dragons, start building the army, let's go save the Seven Kingdoms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And honestly, sorry.
It's perfectly set up for her to set up her base of operations, her headquarters at Dragonstone. Dragonstone is the ancestral castle of House Targaryen. Stannis is dead, so he's not in Dragonstone anymore. It's an open castle. It's not settled by anyone.
I'm sure there's probably some Lannister troops there, but it would be nothing for her. Like she could easily do that. And that's another thing too. Speaking of troops, I saw this theory. Like, are fucking lightly armored hay and leather, so like very little leather, like mainly just like thick like material, but just very lots of open spaces. Are Dothraki screamers really that hard of a fight for like someone like the Knights of the Vale, like heavily fully armored knights? Like are they that big of a threat? Like I understand they're amazing fighters, but you ain't gonna do shit. It's just like Jorah. Like Jorah was wearing armor, which saved him several times. You know what I mean? When he's fighting the Blood Rider from the other dude who opposed Dany, and also when he's in the Pits of Marine. Like, are Dothraki, no matter if you have 100,000 or 1,000,000 of them, are they gonna? Okay, maybe 1,000,000, but are they really gonna be that hard for? Like, okay, she's got dragons, so she'll definitely be able to take King's Landing. But if anybody else wants to oppose her, is she really gonna be able? Okay, so she doesn't just have those two. She's also got Dorne's troops, and she's also got Highgarden troops. So okay, but yeah, like I don't know. What are, in your opinion?
Dothraki,
1 to 10, what would you give it? Like,
the Dothraki are under a 6 in my opinion. They're good fighters, but they have no chance against mounted armored cavalry. Mounted armored cavalry, like Knights of the Vale. Did you see how they cut through the Bolton line, the shield line, like a hot knife through butter? The Dothraki don't even have shields. All they have is their one weapon, the Arak, and they use horses, and they don't even put armor on their horses. Like just like you said, that guy that Jorah fought, which was Cal Pono, I think in season 2, Jorah completely owned him because he had armor. You know, Dany's strength is gonna be her dragons. It's gonna be like Aegon the Conqueror all over again.
Hell yeah. Do you think they'll do a similarity to like the only time Aegon released all 3 dragons at once was this one time, and it was like fucking amazing? She released all 3 dragons on the Harpies. It was kind of amazing. But I feel like it was different because it's over ships and water. Like I just want there to be like this huge grass field where like all these fucking armored knights are like just standing out ready to attack her, and this will be like the one time so maybe the one time she releases all 3 dragons will be in the War for the Dawn, like actually releases these motherfuckers. And I know I'm like really scatterbrained, but what are your thoughts on that? Like her releasing all 3 dragons and doing the interesting parallel, like when Aegon did it. And then also, do you think that she's gonna make some armor for her dragons? I know that Tyrion's gonna make a saddle, but do you think they're gonna get some dragon armor?
Well, we already know that Drogon is going to be flying over King's Landing because we've seen it in Bran's vision. Bran's vision showed a dragon on top of King's Landing, that shadow from a couple seasons ago. So that's number 1. And number 2, like Euron is going to steal one of her dragons. This is a big theory on the lines. Euron's going to steal one of her dragons. More than likely it's going to be Rhaegal, the green one, with Dragon Binder, and I have a big assumption that one of the dragons is gonna die. Tony Teflon's theory is she's gonna get one of the dragons killed because she's gonna release all 3, and Euron's gonna steal one and he's gonna kill it, or he's gonna steal it and she's never gonna get Rhaegal back again. It's gonna be literally under Euron's control for the rest of the series, and she's only gonna have Drogon and Viserys. So I think she's going to screw up by releasing all three. I think she needs to only use Drogon, in my opinion. But Euron's definitely stealing one of her dragons or killing one. Fact.
You think that's going to happen for the show, though?
For sure. For sure. Dude, they showed that there's too much strength. That, like, literally, she can walk into King's Landing and take it over in a fortnight. Okay?
Yeah.
They're not going to have Daenerys have that much power. They got to have some sort of Achilles heel to her power, and that's going to be Euron's Dragonbinder horn. And she's going to lose one of her dragons. That's going to be the big plot for next season, is Danny losing one of her babies.
Yeah, see, I made a video called Death of Dragons, like, way before the season even aired, where I was like, yo, one of those fucking dragons are going to get. But my reasoning for that was because I had just watched basically the whole, like, Dance of Dragons, and, you know, I'm going to fuck these goddamn Targaryen names up, but if I'm not mistaken, Princess Rhaenyra, whatever the fuck, was up there in the top of in the Red Keep, in the top of Red Keep, and she had a dragon's den where she kept all of her dragons at. And basically, the people rushed in, killed a whole bunch of her dragons. The dragons killed a whole bunch of people, but that's where a lot of the remaining, like, normal dragons for that were destroyed. So I thought that something similar would be when Dany's dragons are underneath the base of the pyramid in Marine. The Harpies are going to come in with a lot of the citizens and basically rile them up, just like the one dude, the homeless guy, did, where he's like, oh, man, this is Daenerys' city, but let's go take it back. Let's go kill the dragons. And they were going to go in there and kill the dragons. So I think that that's not going to happen. Obviously, it's not going to go down that way. But I agree with you guys in the sense that she's going to lose one of her dragons. I just don't think that's going to be by Euron. I think Euron is basically a waste of fucking – for the TV show. They fucked his character up. Like, they literally – it's like – Dan and Dave obviously have the stigma where they make their favorite characters have the best storyline. So in turn, they make them our favorite characters. It's just the average show watcher. But because they do that, their interpretation of Euron, in my opinion, should have showed up 2 seasons ago. Like, literally, the end of season 4, like season 5, he should have already been in there. And they should have been expanding his character. Now they show up, make him kill off another character who's not really that relevant. Balon, we haven't seen him in fucking 2 seasons. And honestly, the Greyjoys don't really hold any power right now. I think the only reason why they introduced Euron was so that when it's all said and done and Theon and Yara go back to their home place, there might be some sort of, like, you know what I mean? Like a little bit of, oh, well, you forgot about me or just something stupid like that. I don't think Euron is going to be – I saw this where a lot of people were saying, I think it was on Reddit, a lot of people think that Euron's going to be the new Ramsay in the sense that he's going to be the great big bad, the new villain. And then I've also seen some theories where people say it's Cersei. I think the great villain is going to be the White Walkers. Those will be, like, there might be a little bit of time where you think, oh, Cersei is going to do some really evil, but it won't really come down to it. I just feel like it's going to be.
Yeah.
I don't know if Euron's going to live up to all of his hype and standards. And real quick, me and we're going to be ending this live stream in about 10 minutes, so if you guys want to throw in some questions real quick after we get Moejii's response on what I just said, we'll try to answer a few of those.
Yeah, for sure, man. The White Walkers, just like we've been saying, the show's only got 2 seasons left. The Night's King is here. He is the main villain. That's what it's going to be. Nobody's going to be able to top Ramsay, in my opinion, but just to let some of you guys know, if you haven't read the books, Euron is a rapist. He's like a pedophile rapist in the book. He rapes incestual type shit too. Like, not that rapist isn't bad enough, but you just add the incest onto that, and then, like, also the potential homosexuality. You know what I mean? There's nothing. Look, man, I'm sorry, dude. Go ahead and finish what you're saying. No, you're good. Just so people know, if you thought Ramsay was an evil mother effer, Euron is 10 times that in the books. So if the show can even give us 1% of his evilness from the books, then they'll have an awesome villain in the show, in my opinion. But yeah, I totally believe that the Night's King and the White Walker should be the main villain, and hopefully Euron gets a little sprinkle of what he is in the books.
Yeah, I guess you're right in that sense. If they can give him, like, a tenth or just a small fraction of his evilness from the novels, then yeah, he totally would make a good character. I just don't feel like that. I feel like that's just a waste of time, because we all know the big bad should be the White Walkers. This whole season 7, how I would like it to go is war with Dany and Cersei. It's over quickly. Dany's obviously gets the Iron Throne for the meaningless title of it. She gets her home. She rebuilds and does all the damage that she did at King's Landing. She links up with Jon, and then they literally, the end of season 7 is them going into preparing the battlements and all types of shit, like reinforcing Winterfell. We just see like 100,000 troops, all Dothraki, Wildlings, Tyrells, Lannister troops even, because fucking Jaime's likely going to survive. All of that, basically the entire kingdom united at Winterfell, waiting to fight the fucking war for Dawn. And like literally the season ends with Bran like fucking being like, oh, okay, well, this is what y'all did. Like, everybody's at a big war table, and you just have all these people who you never thought would be in the same scene together. Everybody's together, and that's how the season ends. I feel like that's what they need to do. They don't – maybe that's why I feel a little bit jaded on why I don't think Euron should be the new – because I feel like the main one, in my opinion, should be the White Walkers, because we literally only have 13 episodes left. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how they should prepare for the Night's King. He's going to get to Winterfell, and he's going to get to River Run. When Dany gets to King's Landing, that's where they should fight the Night's King and the White Walkers with his army. He's going to literally sweep through the whole north before he gets to King's Landing, and she's going to have her dragons, and I think they're going to take the wildfire from underneath King's Landing to use to kill the whites, because that's the best way to kill the zombies, is the wildfires, to burn all of them. They're not going to be able to burn the Night's King. They're going to have to use the dragons and Valyrian steel for him.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think Dragonfire can get hot enough to burn his ass. Because the one example we're using is, outside of Bloodraven's cave, he just steps over the fire. You know what I'm saying? That's a little bit of fire. But if you got 2 dragons or 3 dragons breathing down on that ass, I don't give a fuck who you are. If the show is any kind of realistic at all, you get melted. You know what I mean? Like, there would be nothing left.
There might be something where you can't get the dragons too close to the Night's King, or he turns them into zombies. There might be some magical power that the guy might have.
Yeah, I see. That was another. I saw that question. That was one of the questions that I was gonna talk about. But I just don't like that. I don't like that idea. It's like, oh, okay, so like I don't like that. Like a dragon being turned into a zombie dragon, or Bran warging a dragon. I just feel like that's too make believe. Like they make a point to say that dragons are basically as smart as humans, and Bran has trouble warging someone with a simple mind. Sometimes, not all the time, but we don't get those examples that like we got from the novels of people like hearing about what happens to people who warg other people. Like basically Bran was a blood walker or whatever the fuck you want to call him. And he had trouble doing that to someone with a simple mind. So I don't think he should be able to do that to a dragon. And I just think it's too much for a White Walker or the Night King to be able to turn a dragon. I know it would be fucking amazing, but I just feel like that would be so Hollywood. We would be like, dude, like that was amazing and it was epic, but it was kind of like, really? Like, well, you know what I mean? I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if Dany and possibly Jon are going to be riding the dragons, because the dragon has 3 heads, the Night's King has got to have something to ride too, and possibly ice spiders, possibly an ice dragon.
I would pay money to see the ice spider. Like, yo, that would be fucking dope. I would love to see him riding one of those. As far as the 3 heads of the dragon, I know this is really sidetracking, but I think the 3 heads of the dragon, if they don't do literal, like, it's 3 people riding 3 dragons, I think it's just like Dany's 3 dragons that were born all at once. It's like the Targaryen symbol. It's like she's got 3 dragons. Aegon had 3 dragons. I just think that what most likely what it could mean is the 3 heads of the dragon are Dany's 3 dragons. You know what I mean? It's like a 3-headed dragon or 3 heads of the dragon. I don't know. But real quick, if you guys have any more questions, we're about to end this live stream. But yeah, did you have anything else that you want to say? You want to tell people where we can find you at and stuff?
Yeah, so yeah, I do Song of Ice and Fire theories. I also do pop culture entertainment, podcasting. You guys can catch me, Moejii Osman. I'm down in the chat, and hopefully you can put me in the descriptions, Mark, when this video's over. And yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. You guys can check out my video, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no doubt, dude, for sure. Thanks for coming by. I was gonna say we did see someone real quick. You know, you go on Watchers on the Wall or whatever. They were saying that the actor who plays Jorah and Gwendolyn Christie, the actor who plays Brienne of Tarth, were spotted filming in Belfast in Northern Ireland. What do we think about that? Now, real quick, there is all types of speculation we can do, and we got to end this. But I honestly think that they are there. I really do think Jorah jumped on one of those fucking ships and he's heading back to Westeros with Dany. His smart choice would be to go to the Citadel or to go to Quaithe or one of those places where he might actually get healed. But honestly, he probably went back to Westeros. And I think that the only reason why him and Brienne were seen filming at that is it's the studio. It's in Belfast, yes, so it's in Northern Ireland, but it's indoors, so they can literally film any scene they want to. It could be Jorah being in the Red Waste, and that's literally just filmed at Belfast in the studio because it's easier for them. You know what I mean? But what do you think about that? Do you think they linked up?
The only person that they've shown in the show that can possibly cure grayscale is Quaithe. And Jorah has met her. And I believe Jorah is headed to Ashai. I think he's headed to the Shadowlands. They're going to finally show us what the hell is in Ashai. Is it demons? Is it magic? Is it the god of R'hllor, the Lord of Light priest come from there? It's going to be all sorts of shit because he's going to have to cure his grayscale. It's obvious he's going to cure his grayscale. Some people think he's going to get it cured at the Citadel, but I personally believe he's going to look for Quaithe, and that's where he's headed. As for Brienne, I have no clue. She's probably headed back to meet with Sansa and Jon in Winterfell.
Yeah, I honestly think it would be fucking epic if she ran into Jorah, and then that was the link that we needed between the North and Daenerys to get them back together. Like literally Sansa's closest advisor and Daenerys is one of her closest advisors. You know what I mean? Like that would be fucking amazing. But I literally just think that, like you were saying, Brienne is filming like northern scenes where she's probably one of the first scenes of, or one of the scenes in the first episode is likely going to be what happened to Brienne, where she's at. She's probably making her way back to Winterfell. I think it would be fucking amazing to see a shot. You think they'll do like big lava pits and shit like that? Do you think we'll see like the high red priest of R'hllor? That would be amazing. Like some fucking 800-year-old dude just sitting on it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that would be fucking amazing.
That's why they call it the Shadowlands, dude. There's some magical and mythical stuff going on over there. And if there's any place where you can cure grayscale, I think it's gonna be in a shot, in my opinion. So
what if since we didn't get Mokoro the way that we wanted to, what if Mokoro runs into Jorah and then Jorah is officially Victarion, meaning like he's got the smoking hand? Like, what do you think about that? What if because like
that would be stupid epic. But that would be amazingly epic if they give us the red hand that Victarion has. Like, it's a game changer because they're supposed to be introducing these characters like Victarion, and they didn't. So at least give us that, because that's the grayscale in the books.
Hell yeah. Oh man, that was fucking awesome. Hopefully we'll be able to do this again. I'll try to be over with you guys. Just let me know. Just message me or something on Hangouts or whatever when you guys do your thing on Thursday. You said it's Thursday in the evening or just different times?
Yeah, Thursdays at 6 p.m. That's what time I'm off of work at 4 o'clock, so I can make it home. That's like the best time for me and Tony. So I'll give you a heads up maybe in a week or so on a day that if you got time for it on Thursdays, dude.
Hell yeah. It's East Coast Standard Time, right?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. All right, well, I want to thank you all so much for joining us. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Moejii's channel. I'll put his link down in the description, of course. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Once again, that big Game of Thrones theory that this video was entitled was basically that Samwell is like the most important character in the sense that like he's recording all the events of Game of Thrones through that time period in Westeros, and he's going to be the one that writes all the information down at the very end of it. So it's important for him being like one of the survivors. But yeah, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you go subscribe to Moejii's channel. As always, my name's Mark, and this has been Sir Hunt's Reviews.